just going to warn you now. If you're a TNA diehard fan, you might not want to watch this review. If you don't want to hear me gripe about TNA for maybe 30 minutes, I don't know how long this video is going to be, I really don't. You want to turn this off now, because I can guarantee you there's a good chance I might only go 10 minutes, around 10 minutes. There's a good chance I might go a lot longer than that. Final resolution. Second one we had this year. That's why, if you notice in the tagline, I have Final Resolution 08 version 2. And you notice there's another little added on thing. We will get to that. Now, TNA didn't give a rat's ass about this pay-per-view. They haven't. They have been leading up to Genesis. Even during the last Impact, they were selling Genesis, not this pay-per-view. You look at the matches. It's pretty, you had the main event was a thrown together bad idea of a tag match, which the WWE did once, and it completely bombed. But they thought they would do it. There was, the Rhino angle match, which I don't think anyone really thought would turn out any different than it did. Feast and Fired, which I didn't think a single person wanted to see brought back. A 6 women's knockout match that I don't think anyone really wanted to see. And a knockouts match that no one really wanted to see. So, again, TNA didn't give a shit about this pay-per-view because it was originally moved. This is the pay-per-view that was moved when the WWE took its slot. They moved it to this weekend. And of course, the Dale Hoy fight was yesterday. Excuse me, I've been sick, so I will probably cough a lot more than even normal during this review. That's why I didn't do the Black Friday video that I was going to do, but I got very sick and could not do it. Anyways, TNA didn't care about this pay-per-view. They had to move the pay-per-view to this weekend. The De La Hoya Pacquiao fight was this weekend. They didn't think they would be able to, not that I think that they have a big, a big cross-section there, and this historically is not a big pay-per-view for them anyways, so they saw it as a throwaway pay-per-view. Pay-per-view they didn't care. I've never understood this, but TNA doesn't do enough buy rates to where they need to be throwing away pay-per-views. They should just not put on the pay-per-view and have some of this stuff happen on television, where it would make more sense, in my opinion. Just me, I don't know. It would be much better than sitting through this pile of crap. I wasn't even going to watch this, except I'm sick. And given that I am sick, I figured I would watch it. Didn't think I would do a review, but after watching it, I felt like I had to get a lot of this off my chest. This was a horrible show. This was a show of absolute crap. I didn't think it would be possible for TNA to put on a show worse than what we saw at Survivor Series, and they did. And I think they tried. That's the thing. I think they actually tried to put on the worst show imaginable. This was pretty bad for any product, in my opinion. This was very, very, very bad. We started out the night with the Feast or Fired match, and it was good. The match itself was good, though I will have a problem with it later, but we will get to that. It was a good little match where Homicide, Hernandez, Curryman, and it got down to the end. Motor City Machine Guns. This is very important to point out. Motor City Machine Guns, they had the final case in their hands, hoping that it would be the tag team title match, and then, but they had not hit the floor. The rules are you must take the case and get the case onto the floor. Well, they were still in the ring, so Jay Lethal jumped off the ropes, took the briefcase, slid into the floor, won the case. Motor City Machine Guns were not happy about this. Apparently, somehow, even in this weird rules match, that I think even most people understood that part of the rules, they didn't even understand the rules. So, yeah. So they started whining and crying, which would lead up to a huge story for the rest of the night in which Motor City Machine Guns one of their most popular teams, were buried for the entire show. I hope there was a reason for this. I hope there winds up being a reason for this. If there wasn't, if they were just trying to play comedy and trying to have some sort of storyline throughout the show, this was horrible, horrible, bad. This is what this was. Anyways, that part of it was at least. The match itself was good. After the match, we got this big, long played out with the Motor Machine Guns running around saying, hey, 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 we got screwed, we got screwed, we got screwed. They said, well, we're going to open one case tonight, and then we'll open the other cases on Impact. That's fine. Makes sense. They opened up Jay Lethal's case. He had the tag team title match, which pissed off the Motor Machine Guns even more. They went off on Jeremy Borash then went off on them and basically buried them. The announcer basically buried them in the middle of the ring on the mic. And I was like, well, maybe they're going to make something of this. We shall see. Then we had Sharmell and the Beautiful People versus Roxxi, ODB, and Tyler Wilde. This was set up at the last Impact in one of the most god-awful, horrible segments I have ever seen in my life, with ODB's angle, I think is what they called it. I don't know. It was complete crap, where Taylor Wilde was wearing, looked like Pocahontas. Roxxi has this new little pixie-looking haircut since her hair is starting to grow back, and what's the deal now with TNA cussing all the time? I don't get it. I don't understand. It's, I guess it's supposed to be edgy. I don't know. They did a big rating last week, so maybe it worked. I don't know. This match, I wasn't looking forward to it. Originally it was Sharmell versus ODB. I'd have been happy with that. They told an okay story, but this was just, I didn't give a rat's ass about this, particularly after we just gone through this big long segment with the titles, and also I think it was either this or it was after this match. I think it was before this. They announced that the Sarah Palin impersonator, which was absolutely wretched, by the way, from the last Impact, would be back. Yay, TNA. Yay, TNA. After that, we got Eric Young versus Sheik Bashir. This was almost good. This was just kind of there, though. At this point, I had so low expectations of this pay-per-view, and I was already kind of sick of it. And I'm just warning you now. You can call me biased, whatever. You can say I shouldn't be talking about the pay-per-view if I didn't like it that much, or I didn't know I was going to like it. But hey, whatever. This was, you know, good for what it was, I guess. Up until, I would say, the ending segment was a lot better. You know, you had Bashir taking on the ref. Finally, you had that whole angle come to, you know, finally to a head, which worked out pretty well, except after it looks like Eric Young won, but with the ref's help. So Bashir attacked Eric Young, attacked the ref, bloodied up the ref, was walking back with the title, with this bloody towel in his hand. Cornette, yes, Cornette, who we've not seen on TV for who knows how long, but we saw him on this pay-per-view for longer than I think we have seen since Mick Foley came back. Came out, took the title from Bashir, and then TNA later said, well, if you want to find out what's going to happen with the title, you have to turn on with Impact. This whole pay-per-view was to set up the next Impact, which was complete garbage because the Impacts have been better than this pay-per-view. I am not lying. This was such bullshit, this pay-per-view was. Then we got Awesome Kong versus Christy, Hemme, and the TNA idiots, actually, the production staff, actually showed a sign that says, if Hemme wins, we riot. That's all you need to know about the freaking production staff. They suck ass. Maybe they thought it was funny. Maybe, I don't know. I was like, because we all thought Hemme might actually win anyways. She didn't win the match by DQ after okay. She was attacked on the outside. The ref, you could tell the ref was seeing what was going on. And he didn't DQ while the stuff was going on the outside. He waited until they finally got inside, and then she was attacked again. It was moronic. Okay, TNA. Newsflash. People want to see Awesome Kong kill bitches. That's what they pay for. When they pay to watch an Awesome Kong match, they want to watch her kill somebody. Okay? They want to watch her annihilate somebody. That's what they want to see. You are not allowing them to do that. You make Christy Hemme, who is not even probably the 5th best knockout you have, actually look like she belonged in the ring with Kong. That's not necessarily a bad thing, but it's definitely not the person people want to see feuding with Kong. Okay? Wake the fuck up, please. Please. Then I thought, well, maybe we would finally be saved. We had Beer Money versus Abyss and Matt Morgan. Again, another match that was badly set up at the last Impact, in my opinion. A bad segment. I thought this might actually be good. This was okay. Not all that great. It dragged. It went forever. This match, I don't know. This went too long. And then it was just weird. Beer Money looked like they were just gonna walk out of the match. They did the whole "you have to come back" type of thing. They finally came back. It was what it was. I guess it just wasn't very good. For one thing, you had Matt Morgan in there, who is the least over of the two, trying to get the babyface heat when, Beer Money is attacking him, instead of Abyss. Abyss is the more over. You've already squashed any hope that anyone would ever have of Abyss being a monster again. You're trying to make Matt Morgan into a monster. Wouldn't it make more sense to put the heat on Abyss, okay, the babyface heat on Abyss, then Abyss tags Matt Morgan, and then Matt Morgan destroys Beer Money? Just a question. I'm just wondering. I'm just curious. Just tell me. Let me know if I'm wrong on this. Next, we got Rhino versus Kurt Angle. I thought maybe this match would actually deliver. It didn't. Though I guess Kurt Angle could only drag Rhino to a match that was so good, I imagine. It also didn't help that, they set up the who was Kurt Angle going to bring in to be his enforcer. They didn't announce it right away. There was a reason for that. They got to about the end of the match. It looked like Kurt Angle was going to hit Mick Foley with the chair. He didn't. Later, Al Snow. Yes, Al Snow came down. He was the guy. We have no idea where this angle is going. He came out, distracted Mick, which allowed Kurt Angle to attack Rhino, use a chair, then hit the Olympic Slam. Kurt Angle won. Big surprise. Whoop-de-doo! Like we didn't know that was going to happen. Then we had the main event Mafia versus the front line. Of course, if the front line won, any member of the front line pinned any member of the main event Mafia, AJ would win the title. This sounds like a perfect opportunity to have a title switch. Does it not? We all thought, well, maybe Team 3D would turn. Some of us thought, well, maybe Joe's going to turn. Maybe Joe and Sting are going to do a double turn. What the hell's going to happen? Well, we got a match. And the match was good up until the ending. It was long, so they gave them time. My biggest problem was they had Joe playing the face as the baby face in peril, not AJ. AJ is built for the baby face in peril. And so when Joe was playing the baby face in peril and he finally tags in AJ, and AJ, little AJ, starts attacking the entire main event Mafia and clearing house, including big old Kevin Nash, who should have been able to just go Mafia kick, boom, to AJ Styles and take AJ Styles out. That's not what we got. We got AJ bumping around, attacking everybody. Didn't look that believable. Would have looked more believable with Joe. Maybe I'm nitpicking. I don't give a rat's ass. It was that sort of thing. Then we got the finish where everyone pretty much hit their finish. Team 3D hit their finish. Everybody, Nash hit a choke slam instead of a power bomb. It looked like Joe was going to win the title. We was going to win the match for everybody. And then Nash hit a low blow, and Joe took the pin. Meaning the main event Mafia went over the front line again. Meaning apparently there was no reason for Team 3D to join the group. This should have been where, the front line finally got their win, finally got their, their first victory, real victory over the main event Mafia. Instead, what we got was NWO. That's what we got. We got looks unbeatable, and then freaking Sting ran to the back looking like he's going to do the face turn, which would be complete and utter crap, because this is the most interesting Sting has been since, I don't know, fucking forever. Okay, because he actually turned heel. The fans still kind of like him, but they like him as kind of the heelish Sting. Let Sting be that. Okay, do you have to turn him face? Is there any reason to turn him face? You've in one moment you've turned the guys that you were trying to make interesting and trying to matter again, and the main event Mafia, with the exception of Angle, actually be interesting. You then have Team 3D, who are now interesting again because they're face, even though everyone thought maybe you would turn them heel. Why not just let this play out? Okay, let this play out. You definitely are going to have to play this out at least to lockdown, because this makes perfect sense to lockdown. And instead, this is what we got. Wouldn't it have made more sense? I'm just asking. Wouldn't this have made more sense for the front line to go over? I would think so. It would make more sense to me, personally. Hey, that's what it was. There was some good matches on here, but the booking, storylines, all of that part of it completely sucked on this pay-per-view. They were moronic. It was evident that TNA said, we don't give a shit about this pay-per-view. Brian Alvarez said he thought this pay-per-view might get 12,000 buys. If it got 12,000 buys, TNA needs to refund some fucking money, because that was shit. Look, I understand this was a throwaway show. Even if this was a throwaway show and you're not going to give big matches on this show, you need to at least deliver on the show. And that doesn't even get into the burial. Let me explain to you the entire burial process here. Because what we got was, as I said, Jeremy Borash burying the main event Mafia, Motor City Machine Guns, in the ring. Then we had basically the same thing happen backstage. Then the Motor City Machine Guns went and found Mick Foley, saying we want our title shot. We should have won the match. We want our title shot. Mick Foley said no. They walked out. Said, we're putting in a protest. Sat down middle of the ring. Said, we want to talk to Mick Foley. Jim Cornette came out. Jim Cornette said, I'm going to get the baddest security guard to come out here, and he's going to remove you from the ring so we can continue with the pay-per-view, because you guys are nothing more than a bunch of crybabies. And so, what does TNA do? They finally debut Suicide. Now, he debuts, he kills Motor City Machine Guns. Yay! Do they debut him at Feast and Fired, where he swoops down, destroys everybody in the ring, gets one of the cases, maybe gets an X Division title, maybe gets a tag team title, becomes instantly important since you've been hyping this character? Wouldn't that make more sense than having him bury one of your most over tag teams? I'm just wondering, and I'm wondering what the fuck did the Motor City Machine Guns do to get this? I'm just curious. Does anybody know? I would love to know. I think it's a question that needs to be asked, because something has happened, and it's beyond the fact that they refused to blade, 6 months ago. Something definitely has happened. What happened? We need to know, because this was crap. This was a crap segment. These segments made no sense. Like I said, the booking, the storytelling, none of it was like, what are you doing? And then it was all like, turn into Impact. Turn into Impact. Everything was, if you want to see the conclusion of what you just saw, turn into Impact. Meaning, don't waste your fucking time on the pay-per-view. Wonderful, TNA. Beautiful. Beautiful. You so understand what pay-per-view is about. That's all. I'm out. I was going to grade this thing 4.5. That's right, a 4.5. Have fun. I'm out. Later.